So now let's start with our second scene on page number 140. Now what had happened actually, Mr. Holmes and Mr. Watson, both of them, they must have worked the whole Sunday, and on Monday, as they had to give an answer to Mr. Wilson that what had happened to the red-headed Lee, why that place was a vacant lot, and when he went to that shop, why it happened so with him. So they had an answer. Let us see what type of answer they had. Outside Wilson's shop in Saxe-Coburg Square, Holmes is walking up and down. Now and then he hits the ground outside the shop with his walking stick. Then he knocks on the door of the shop. Spaulding opens the shop door. The legs of his trousers are dirty. So what happened? Holmes and Watson, they were there in front of that shop. Whose shop? Mr. Wilson's shop, which was in Saxe-Coburg Square. So on Sunday, these two, they were there on the shop, maybe just that day itself, and they went there, and Mr. Holmes, he started walking up and down, left and right, he started walking there, and then he was, with his stick, he was trying to tap the ground, he was trying to find out what was there inside the ground, under the ground. Then he knocks on the door of the shop, and then he also knocked at the door in the shop. Spaulding opens the door, and just then what happened? Mr. Vincent Spaulding, he opens the door and he came out. You can see how Vincent Spaulding is standing there. And when he came outside, the legs of his trousers are dirty. You can see the legs of the trousers, they were dirty, and Mr. Holmes observed this. Spaulding, can I help you? So Spaulding, when he came out, he asked Mr. Holmes that, can I help you? Holmes said, yes. How can I get to the Strand? Then he asked, how can I get to the Strand, a nearby place? Spaulding, third on the right and fourth on the left. So he just gave that idea that how you will reach that place. He goes back into the shop and closes the door. Okay, then he goes back to the shop and closes the door. Who? Vincent Spaulding. Now, Holmes, he is a clever young man, Watson. Okay, so Holmes told Mr. Watson that Spaulding is quite a clever man. Watson, is he? Why did you ask about the Strand? So he said, why did you ask about the Strand? Though because Holmes used to stay at that place only, and he knew each and every place in London, and that is why he is asking that, why did you ask about that Strand? You know London very well. Why he knew London? Because he used to stay in London itself, and since long time he was there, and he knew each and every place. But then also he is asking about Strand. So Watson was quite amazed. Very well, you wanted to see him. So Watson said, you just wanted to see him, but why did you ask about the Strand? Holmes, did you notice his trousers? Holmes said, did you see his trousers? They were all dirty. Watson, his trousers? No. But I saw you hit the ground with your stick. So Watson said, no, I didn't observe his trousers, but I saw that you were hitting the ground with your stick. And why were you hitting? So Holmes said, my dear Watson, this is no time for discussion. He's saying, oh, Watson, this is no time for discussion. This is time for action. I must go and look at the roads behind Saxe-Coburg Square. So he said, I must go and look at the road behind the shop. You had to go to your work. And then he said, you had to go to your work. No, Mr. Watson, so why don't you go to your hospital? So Watson said, yes, to the hospital. He said, yes, I had to go to the hospital. And then Holmes, right, but I want your help tonight. Come at 10 o'clock. So Mr. Holmes said, yes, but at 10 o'clock in the night, I need your help. So it's better you come to my place at 10 o'clock at night. And then Watson goes to his hospital, and Holmes again back to his home. So in this scene too, what have you understood? That the whole Sunday, these two, they worked, and at night, Sunday night, they again have to work something. So let's see what they are going to work. So with this we come to the end of scene 2, and now we'll start with scene 3. Now what happens in the third scene? Now these two, they try to catch hold of that culprit. The strong room, in the third scene you'll see the strong room at a bank with many boxes and crates in it. Holmes, Watson and Jones are on stage hiding behind some boxes. Now a strong room, what is a strong room? A strong room is the place in a bank where a lot of costly things or jewelries are kept, locker room, and it is very like a very small place, and many boxes and crates were there in that strong room. And in that strong room these three, Holmes, Sherlock Holmes, Watson, Holmes' friend, and Jones. And who was this Jones? This was another detective. So Jones was another detective. So all the three, they are hiding there, are on a stage hiding behind some boxes. So because it's a drama, that is why it's written that on the stage. Okay, so they are, so when, if you want to dramatize in your school also, all this we can use it like this. So they were hiding and then behind the boxes and trying to find out that who's going to come out from that hole. Holmes, is everything ready upstairs, Mr. Jones? So Holmes must have given some idea to Mr. Jones to keep something ready upstairs. So Holmes is asking him, Mr. Jones, is everything ready upstairs? So Jones says, my men are waiting at the front door of the bank and near the shop. So he said, yes, my men. So he had deployed few men, Mr. Jones, and these men, they were waiting just in front of the bank's door and near the shop. Whose shop, you know? Mr. Wilson's shop. Holmes, good. Now we must be quiet and wait. So quietly they all waited that who's going to break open the wall and come out. He puts out the light, and obviously they made that room dark. The strong room is dark, but we can see the men waiting behind the crates. Now on the drama, on the stage, the room is dark because they've put off the light, and because these people are hiding behind, so you can see that behind the crate these people are also hiding. Nothing happens. Watson looks at the watch, and then for a few seconds nothing happens, and he's just looking at the watch, that when are these people going to come out. Watson whispering, it's 11:15. Holmes, when? So Watson is saying that it's already 11:15. When are they going to come out? So Holmes, he says, shh, don't imperil our investigation. Okay, imperil means put in danger. See, put in danger. So don't, if you're going to speak, these people, they're going to come to know, and then they'll run away and we won't be able to catch them, and our investigation will be just fruitless. So it's saying that, he's saying that you be quiet, don't say anything. They see a light coming through the stone floor. Suddenly the stones give way. First a hand with a gun comes out of the ground, then another hand. Spaulding comes out, followed by Ross. Okay, then what happened? Slowly the stone is shifted, okay, and a man comes out with a gun in his hand. Okay, Spaulding comes out, followed by Ross. So Spaulding first, he comes out, and then Ross, Duncan Ross was also there behind him. Spaulding to Ross, now have you got? Okay, so Spaulding asks him to, have you got? With his light, Holmes come out from behind his box and hits Spaulding's arm. Just from behind, Holmes come out and he catch hold of his arm. You can see how he's trying to hit him. Now the gun is on the ground. Okay, so, and when he hits him, the gun falls from his hand and it was fell on the ground. Ross quickly gets back into the tunnel, and just then what happened, when Duncan Ross, when he saw that Holmes caught hold of Mr. Spaulding, Duncan Ross, he quickly again went inside the tunnel and he started running. Jones wants to stop him, but he cannot. Now the other detective, he wanted to stop Duncan Ross, but he could not, and he ran away. Who ran away? Duncan Ross ran away, and these all the three men, they were up only along with Spaulding, Vincent Spaulding. Holmes, you can't get away, John Clay. So you know that Vincent Spaulding's another name was John Clay. So he says, Holmes says that John Clay, you cannot get away. Okay, and he was holding Mr. Spaulding. Spaulding, no, but Ross, my friend. He said, no. What about my friend? Ross, my friend. Holmes said, there are three men waiting for him at the other end. Holmes says, oh, don't worry about your friend Duncan Ross. After all, on the other side, there are already few men deployed and they are not going to spare him. They are going to catch him. Don't worry. Spaulding, do you think of everything? Mr. Holmes, you think of everything, Mr. Holmes. You are very clever. So Spaulding says, oh, Mr. Holmes, you are very clever. You think of everything. Obviously, you're on the other side. You knew that on the other side, Duncan Ross is going to run away. So you've already deployed men there. Holmes, so are you, John Clay. Your red-headed league was clever. So Holmes also tells him that, oh, not only that Holmes is clever, even you are clever, Mr. Spaulding. What about your red-headed league? And that was very clever, that how you gave a chance to a man with red hair. Why? Because his shop was just the opposite that bank, and you wanted to rob the bank, and that is why you deployed him. Okay, you gave him another job so that he could stay away from his shop. So Holmes understood Spaulding's, okay, that how cunning he was, and then he caught him cleverly. So with this we come to the end of scene 3. Now let's start with our scene 4, or the last scene of this drama. So Sherlock Holmes' study, Holmes and Watson are sitting in chairs. So now they had already found out that how Spaulding had cheated Mr. Wilson. Okay, and now everyone, they are all sitting there in Holmes' study again in the end. So Sherlock Holmes' study is there, and Holmes and Watson, both these friends are sitting there in the chairs, and they're talking to each other. So in the end, in the last 4 scene, only these two people are there, Holmes and Watson. These two are very good friends. There was never any red-headed league. So he said, oh, there was no red-headed league. The villains wanted Wilson away from the shop for some hours every day. So actually what had happened, that these villains, these people, Mr. Spaulding and Duncan Ross, they wanted Mr. Wilson to be away from his shop for few hours so that they could do their job there easily without his knowing. But how could they do it? Then Clay saw the color of Ross's hair, obviously. But then how could he keep Mr. Ross away from his hair? So he saw his hair, and his hair was all red color, and thought of a red-headed league. And then he thought, oh, now we can think of red-headed league. And so when Wilson went to work in their office every day, they had time to make their tunnel very clever. And then every day when Mr. Wilson was away from his own shop, and when he was there copying that encyclopedia, okay, and in the red-headed league, these people, they would go to his shop and try to dug the tunnel there. Watson, so Spaulding is John Clay. So he understood. Oh, so Watson says, oh, so that means Mr. Vincent Spaulding was John Clay actually, okay, and that is why he was there in working in his shop, though and that too on a very low wages, because he was poor and Mr. Wilson was poor and he could not afford Spaulding. But then also he agreed to work there, and why he agreed to work? Because he actually wanted to rob the bank, and that is why John Clay had become Vincent Spaulding, and he was working there with Mr. Wilson. The notorious thief. When did you first know that? So Watson is asking Holmes that when did you first know that he was Mr. John Clay. He was not actually Mr. Vincent Spaulding. He was John Clay, and he had become Mr. Vincent Spaulding, and he was assisting Wilson in his work. So Holmes said, I suspected when Spaulding was happy to work for half wages. Obviously, when Spaulding agreed to work on half wages, okay, then that time he suspected Spaulding, okay, and he said, oh, this could be something, like he was very cunning man. Why? I thought Spaulding often went down to the cellar. What's he doing down there? So he said, after all, Spaulding, what he was doing there in the cellar, in the store, in the dark room. Okay, so it could be something fishy. What's he doing down there? So he said, what is he doing there? I thought, tunnels. Is Spaulding making a tunnel? And then he said, isn't he making a tunnel there? I thought, to another building. Okay, Watson, you saw me hitting the ground with my stick outside the shop. Then he said, oh, you saw me, Watson, hitting the ground. Okay, then why he was hitting the ground? Actually, he wanted to know whether it is hollow inside or not. Watson, yes. Now I understand. You wanted to know if the cellar was in front of the shop. And then Watson said, yes. Now I realize that why you were hitting that with your hit with the stick, because you wanted to find out whether that shop was just the opposite the cellar. Holmes, yes, I did. And it wasn't the cellar. The cellar was behind the shop. And he said, yes, but it wasn't. And the cellar was behind the shop. Then I saw the man Spaulding. Okay, and after that, when he was tapping the door also, that time Spaulding also came, and that time he observed this Spaulding also. I recognized him immediately. Did you see his trousers? And immediately he recognized that yes, his trousers were dirty. That means he is actually digging the tunnel. They were dirty, Watson. So, and obviously his trousers were dirty. Why? Because making a tunnel is a dirty work, obviously, and when you're digging, obviously your trousers or your pants get dirty. Watson, very clever. Holmes was, oh yes, Watson, you're really very clever. And see how you find out that he was digging a tunnel. Holmes, when I went into the next street at the back of the shop, and what did I see? The first bank. So Holmes says that when he went towards the back side of the shop, he found that there was a bank. And what was that bank? That was the first bank. Watson, the bank? Yes, of course. He said, Watson says, the bank. He said, yes, of course. And Watson, he said, yes, of course, the bank was there. Holmes, why is that young man making a tunnel? I thought. And then he thought that why that young man is making a tunnel? Obviously, he is making the tunnel towards the bank so that he can rob the bank. To get into the bank's strong room, of course. And then he actually wanted to get into that bank's strong room and rob all jewelry and all that. Okay. Then strong room. Watson, why? But why tonight? How did you know? Then he said that why only tonight? How did you come to know that tonight they're going to come out of? They'll be able to, like, they'll be successful in opening, coming out to the strong room, because actually it was written there, no, that the Red-Headed League is finished. That means the work was over. That means tonight the work was over and they're going to complete their mission. So Holmes, because they closed the offices of the Red-Headed League, the tunnel must be ready. So because the Red-Headed League was finished, okay, that means the tunnel was ready. I thought, and Saturday is a good day, and obviously Saturday is a good day, like it's a holiday there. The bank does not open on Sunday, and Saturday night they can rob the bank, and Sundays it's a holiday, so nobody will come to know for one day, and till that one day, in that one day they can run away. It would have given the thieves enough time to get away, and that one full Sunday they could run away to a different land. So a lot of time was there for them to escape. So that is why he thought that obviously on Saturday they are going to come there. Watson, laughing. But they did not get away, Holmes. You're very clever, Watson said. Oh, but they could not get away, Holmes. Because you're very clever, Holmes, not laughing. Holmes actually did not laugh and he said, That's very true, Watson. That yes, that's very true. And their mission was accomplished and they could catch hold of this thief actually. So this was actually so only an episode which is given here in your book, and with this we come to the end of our drama.